Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the data-driven reality of how everyday people, just like you and me, build true wealth. If you've ever felt like financial freedom is reserved only for those born into money or folks earning massive executive salaries, well, get ready to have your perspective entirely shifted. We're going to look closely at the actual habits, the mindsets, and the concrete strategies that turn modest incomes into lasting fortunes. So, let's shatter a massive myth right out of the gates. A recent Fidelity study found that a staggering 88% of millionaires are entirely self-made. That means they didn't inherit their wealth, they weren't handed some shiny trust fund, they built it themselves from the ground up. This one statistic alone completely changes the narrative, doesn't it? It means that building wealth isn't some exclusive club, it's actually a highly replicable process. To map out this journey, our explainer today covers 4 steps. 1. The self-made mindset. 2. Managing your money. 3. Defeating your debt. And 4. Automating your investments.
Section 1. The self-made mindset. You see, as author Keith Cameron Smith points out, wealth doesn't actually begin in a bank account. It begins with distinct habits. And the absolute master variable here, it's time. The middle class often trades freedom for the short-term comfort of a paycheck, basically thinking month to month. Millionaires, however, exercise the patience and delayed gratification to plant seeds that will fruit years later. They think in decades. Think of Warren Buffett, who began buying shares at GEICO in 1951 and waited 45 years before fully acquiring it. Now that is the ultimate long-term vision. Furthermore, ideas are literally the seeds of financial outcomes. The middle class often fills its conversations with complaints, gossip, and the nitty-gritty details of other people's choices. Millionaires, they talk about ideas and possibilities. If you want more money, you should be spending your time stress-testing concepts with successful people. Just look at Sarah Blakely. She used her time to turn a frustrating everyday problem into Spanx, building a billion-dollar company out of a single idea instead of just complaining about it. And relying solely on a wage? Well, that leaves you capped by someone else's budget. It's a fundamentally fragile position where you're constantly playing financial defense. Building your net worth through assets and profits, on the other hand, puts you firmly in the driver's seat. Your earning potential becomes virtually unlimited. Millionaires use their income to buy assets rather than liabilities, and then they just let those assets generate even more passive income. And surprisingly enough, data from researcher Tom Corley shows that self-made millionaires actually retain highly frugal spending habits that were forged long before they became wealthy. I mean, look at these numbers. 64% live in a modest home, 44% only buy used cars, and a full 8% even shop at Goodwill. Wealth isn't about how much you spend to look rich. It's about how much you keep to actually be rich.
Section 2. Managing your money.
Okay, let's dive into the practical mechanics to start emulating those wealthy habits immediately. If you're feeling restricted by a modest salary, the 50-30-20 rule is your absolute best triage tool to control spending. Here's how it works. You allocate exactly 50% of your income to necessities like rent and groceries, 30% goes to discretionary spending, things like dining out, and a full 20% goes straight toward building your financial safety net through savings and debt repayment. It is a remarkably simple yet totally game-changing framework. But to guarantee that this 20% actually gets saved, you must flip traditional budgeting completely upside down using the pay-yourself-first method. Some call it reverse budgeting. You calculate your take-home pay, pick your savings percentage, and then here is the real secret sauce. You automate those transfers before you pay a single bill. You only budget with the funds that are left over, so your savings happen entirely on autopilot.
Section 3. Defeating your debt.
Once your budget is automated, your very next priority has to be aggressively attacking any outstanding liabilities. Why? Because eliminating debt literally liberates your income. Every single dollar you pay in interest is a dollar stolen from your future net worth. By wiping out your debts, you allow yourself to redirect those exact same funds toward compounding assets instead of enriching a credit card company. When you're staring down debt, you essentially have 2 highly effective strategies. You can choose the snowball method, where you knock out your smallest balances first. This gives you quick wins and a massive psychological momentum boost. Or you can go with the avalanche method, targeting your highest interest rates first. Now, it takes a bit longer to see a zero balance with this one, but it provides the strict, long-term mathematical efficiency of saving you the most money overall. Just pick the one that fits your personality best. Section 4. Automating your investments.
All right, now that we've managed the budget and tackled the debt, it's time to unleash the ultimate wealth multipliers. A lot of folks think you need a massive lump sum to get rich. You absolutely do not. By using systematic investment plans, or SIPs, you consistently invest small amounts over time. This leverages the incredible power of compounding returns. Your modest but regular contributions earn returns on the principal, and then you earn returns on the accumulated interest. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting larger and faster entirely on its own.
The absolute best vehicle for these automated investments? Passively managed index funds. Unlike trying to pick individual winning stocks, an index fund spreads your risk across hundreds of companies simultaneously. And because they simply track an index rather than paying a high-priced team of managers to actively trade, the overhead is incredibly low. This means extremely low expense ratio fees and historically reliable long-term growth for you. To put this into perspective, S&P 500 index funds are historically safe long-term investments that track the 500 largest U.S. companies. Over long periods, they have delivered an average annual return of roughly 10%. Think about that. If you're consistently feeding your money into an engine that grows by 10% a year, financial freedom is no longer a dream, it becomes a mathematical certainty. For beginners looking to get started right now, options like the Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index Fund are absolutely incredible. It closely mirrors the performance of the S&P 500, but the best part, it requires absolutely no minimum investment to start, and it charges literally 0% in management fees. Every single penny you invest goes straight to work for you, no strings attached.
Alternatively, if you want an official S&P 500 tracking fund, the Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund offers a microscopic 0.02% expense ratio. To put that in plain English, you pay just 20 cents a year for every $1,000 you invest. That ensures that almost every single dollar you invest stays yours to compound over those decades we talked about earlier. So, the crucial point tying this whole shebang together, the budgeting, the debt clearing, the investing, is your internal dialogue. Keith Cameron Smith points out that the middle class tends to ask disempowering questions that just confirm their limitations, like, why is it so hard to save money? But the wealthy? They ask empowering questions that assume a problem is totally solvable, like, how can I double my income this year? Or, what can I do today to free up $50 to invest? Your brain will answer whatever question you ask it. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a direct challenge to your current habits. Building wealth isn't an accident, and it for sure doesn't require a lottery ticket. It requires a shift in your mindset and a commitment to action. So, what empowering question are you going to ask yourself right now to begin rewriting your financial reality? Take that question, apply the strategies we've explored today, and start building your blueprint to wealth. Thanks so much for joining me.